All right, now. Well, hello, Chris. Hello, Mary. Hello, everybody else who has joined us. Thank you for joining us. I'm guessing that most of you came here from the premiere of episode 211, Bruce Snodgrass's story. We have with us two of the storytellers from the story, Sandy Snodgrass and Liz Ash. Okay, we'll go Snodgrass. So I am going to make a little switch here, and we're going to have some sort of weird two-window thing going. But I think we can make it work pretty well. So I will just figure out how to do this. There it is, and here we are with Sandy and Liz. So Sandy and Liz, gosh, first off, thanks for joining us from Alaska, and we have I don't know how many people we have here. We have about 50 people with us right now. So, who would like to ask any questions for? Hello, Anita. Anita, good to see you here again. Thanks for joining us. And Mara, and Candace from the premiere. Yeah. JS is here. And all you folks. So, we have two of the storytellers here. Does anyone have any questions you might like to present to Sandy or Liz or both? Blanchard, Oklahoma. Yes, Brenda. Hi, good to see you again. Glad you're here. Appreciate you joining us. So, Sandy, what'd you think? What do you think of the story? Well, I appreciate that there was one spot where I thought mug shots would have been good. Yeah, I actually kind of tried to find them and didn't have any luck with that. But in the story, when you guys talk about how he wasn't recognizable and how he got arrested repeatedly, it just seemed to scream for an unrecognizable mugshot. So that's the only thing. There's always something in a story like this that I feel like, oh, we missed something. For sure. Yeah, it's a brutal kind of education to go through that, for sure. No sound from the ladies I'm hearing. No audio. I'm hearing you. So I wonder why not. Are you cannot hear? Everybody's saying cannot hear. That's weird. You hear me, but do you hear the storytellers? What am I missing here? I'm gonna switch the storytellers off and then back on and see if there's some setting I missed. Okay. Yeah, I would turn the sound back down, Liz. All right, cool. Maybe I need to do it this way.
It looks like our mute is off. So
Okay, Pat. Pat, anybody? Uh, um, Liz, Sandy, say something. Yes. Okay.
can you
Now.
hear? Are we back?
Okay,
Are we?
we are working now. Okay, I fixed it because I'm a wizard like that.
Great.
You're fantastic, Glenn.
I am. I'm so fantastic that I couldn't get it right the first time, but we'll just kind of gloss over that.
We're good now.
Yep.
So thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Mara, Taskmaster. There it is. Yeah, there it is. So what did you guys, the audience, what did you guys think about hearing about a story from Alaska? It's kind of a surprise, wasn't it? Hi, Chelsea. Thanks for joining us. Yes, Mara. Yeah, the thing about Alaska being number one, that's something I wouldn't have expected before we started getting involved with Sandy and her organization. I have a question for them to discuss. It's towards the top. I can retype need be. What was it? Oh gosh, toward the top. You're killing me.
While you're looking for that, Glenn, I can talk a little bit about why Alaska's number one. It turns out it's the prices. The cartel knows how much they can charge for their drugs here, and it's many 10, 20, 30, 40 times the price that they can charge in the lower 48 for the drugs. They've discovered that, and they're coming. Mexican cartels are in Alaska, even in remote communities.
Oh, Mara wants to mean, what's number one mean, Sandy?
So the number one reference is that we have been the number one increased state in the nation for illicit drug deaths 3 out of the last 4 years. We've been number one in per capita increased illicit drug deaths.
Chelsea is asking how many government workers are working with the cartel in Alaska. There's a lot in New Mexico, she says. Government workers working with the cartel. That doesn't seem like an easy question to answer. Of course, I get a phone call now. Go figure. So we do have a question from JS, and I have copied it, and I am going to paste it again here just to get it down at the bottom. He says, as an EMT paramedic, I struggle with explaining to families what to do when their loved one is overdosed or had a scare but doesn't want to help. Any suggestions? Again, Bruce was a lovely soul.
He was a lovely soul. He was not lovely when he was using, so I can understand that response from family members. I wish I could say there was a magic bullet to say to someone who's using to get them to seek treatment, but there's not. My only answer for families is that they go to a program for themselves called Al-Anon and take care of themselves, so that when and if that person in their life is ever ready, like Bruce came to me and said he was ready to do something different, I was able to step in then. But if they're using, I don't have a solution other than to take care of yourself until the time comes that hopefully they reach out.
Yes, that's a big deal. Al-Anon, we don't talk enough about Al-Anon on our channel in general. And Al-Anon is a great assistance for people who have family members that are dealing with this. So maybe you could tell us a little bit more about Al-Anon.
So I was in Al-Anon while Bruce was using, and I was so distraught that I couldn't help him, that I was suicidal. So Al-Anon kept me alive long enough that Bruce finally did seek treatment. But the pain, and I don't say this lightly, but I will say it, and I say it to other mothers, I'm not sure which pain was worse, watching him killing himself with illicit drugs or having him die from an illicit drug. I'm not sure which pain is worse. They both tried to kill me.
Somebody wants to know what Al-Anon is.
Al-Anon is the group for loved ones of alcoholics and people with addiction to any substance, alcohol, drugs, gambling, sex, anything. Al-Anon is for the people that are affected by that person. So I was his mother. I was affected by his addiction, so I went to Al-Anon. It's a 12-step program.
I actually, when I was in high school and college, I had a girlfriend whose father was an alcoholic, and we went to Al-Anon meetings too. And I learned a lot about how far-reaching one person's behavior can have on other people, how much impact that it can have. Al-Anon is a great program. Yes, Vicky, it is. Well, look, Dee's Nuts is here. Thanks for joining us, Dee's. Good to see you again. And Al-Anon, if any of you have a family member who's dealing with addiction, even if they're not ready to get help, you can find help with Al-Anon. Al-Anon is gold.
It really is.
JS, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's the way to stay willing and able to help an alcoholic or an addict.
For sure.
That you find some way to live, and then when they do reach out for help, you're in the state of mind that you can help them. You're not so sick yourself, worrying about them or trying to control them.
So Catherine is saying she can't hear Sandy.
I see that. I'm not hearing it from anybody else though, Catherine. Maybe you broke it.
Are other people hearing me?
Catherine says I can hear, but Candace says she can hear everyone. Pat says I'm hearing them fine.
Great.
Okay, let's go back to JS as a comment. I will recommend Al-Anon to families. We just started Leave Behind Narcan at our ambulance service, which I'm so glad is finally here. We can leave doses to family on these calls. Okay, good job, JS. You did notice in the story that there was 5 different kinds of packages of naloxone and only one said Narcan, right? I'm just checking. It's like a thing with me. Okay,
There is a new
Captain
one.
says you're back. I'm sorry.
So Glenn, there is another one coming out that is out. I have it, and we have it in Alaska. It's called Opv. It is not naloxone. It's a completely different drug from naloxone, but it is an opioid reversal drug. So some people maybe they have a sensitivity or an allergy to naloxone. There is a new drug called Opv that is not naloxone. Works just as well. They would argue better, but of course they would say that.
Sandy,
Of course they would say that, yeah. That would be a great thing to feature in a story on our channel. I think there is one of the big criticisms of naloxone is that it can put someone right into withdrawal, and it revives them, and then they feel awful and they're throwing up and all of that. What is lock zone, Laurie? Close, but no.
so one person asked, what's the main age group affected?
So the fastest growing age group for the United States as a whole is 14 to 18-year-olds. So we already know that the leading cause of death for 18 to 45-year-olds is illicit drug poisoning in this country. The leading cause of death for 18 to 45-year-olds in the United States is illicit drug poisoning. The fastest growing demographic of people that are dying are 14 to 18. So they'll lower that number soon. Number one cause of death in Alaska, 14 to 45 is illicit drug poisoning. So the country is being targeted by Mexican drug cartels. Who they're targeting is younger and younger people to keep customers for longer.
It's where the money is.
It's where the money is.
It's
And the young,
ultimately all
young
about money. So it's basically Narcan. D's, yeah, kind of. It's basically Narcan. But Narcan is basically naloxone. Narcan is just a brand name. It's like the difference between saying Kleenex and saying tissue. Except there's no lives in the balance when you say Kleenex instead of tissue. And I can just imagine two people that are impaired watching their friend die on the floor and arguing about this box that doesn't say Narcan anywhere, but does say naloxone, and arguing about whether or not that would work to help their friend. So I always try to make a big deal out of naloxone. It's just my thing. I used to be a marketing guy. I know what a victory it is for the pharmaceutical company that sells Narcan, for Narcan to be the common term for naloxone. But, you know, Elijah, can we get a small recap, please? Holy cow, there is no small recap. I don't think. We just watched a 30-minute long story, and most of the people here, I believe, were watching the premiere of the story of Bruce Snodgrass, Sandy's son, and Liz's nephew, and how he was killed by fentanyl. I don't know. Is that enough of a? How do we know this, Mara? What are you asking me? How do we know this? Yes, we have some target on us, I'm sure. JS, you're absolutely right. We need to use generic terms for that exact reason. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. I will do better. No, I'm not. I'm really not trying to scold anybody. It's just a thing that my marketing brain just goes off when, you know, the word Narcan has even become a verb. Well, they had to Narcan him 4 times. It kills me. So anyway, my medical examiner report shows many types of synthetic and pseudo-fentanyl. I'm not sure what pseudo-fentanyl is. There is fentanyl and carfentanil. Carfentanil is not a synthetic opioid.
Carfentanil is 50 times stronger than fentanyl. Fentanyl is 50 to 100 times stronger than heroin or morphine. There are fentanyl analogs out there on the street now. We've had deaths in Alaska from carfentanil. Mm-hmm. It's simply a different chemical makeup, same precursor chemicals coming from China, just switched around a little bit. So lots of different kinds of fentanyl. Carfentanil is one of them.
So carfentanil, does naloxone work on carfentanil?
It does. It's an opioid. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the thing that naloxone doesn't work on is xylazine. So they're mixing xylazine in with many drugs now all across the country. Xylazine is a horse tranquilizer that what it does to the high apparently is level it out, make it last longer. Naloxone does not reverse a xylazine poisoning. So you can knock off the opioid with naloxone, but still die from xylazine.
Sandy, right. JF wants to know what changes you saw in Brucey.
Well, he was going to 9th grade high school here and new to the school, trying to fit in. And there were some kids smoking pot. And I think that's what started. He was trying to fit in. He wanted to fit in at the new school. And that was kind of the easiest way for him to fit in, maybe with what we would kind of call back in the day the cool kids. He wanted to be one of the cool kids. So that's a big thing for me. I don't know how that ever got started or how that continues, that people that use drugs are the cool kids. If we could get to that, the kids using drugs are not the cool kids. The kids that are using drugs are the ones that need help.
How did you know when he had a significant problem compared to, like,
I could tell by his behavior, his eyes, his response to me. He wasn't engaged in school, which was difficult for him anyway, but he became really unengaged in school, began isolating, which all teenagers do. You know, they hang out in their room, but he was not that kid. He did not hang out in his room. He was outside, and he quit doing that. So that it's like, yeah, this is not normal teenage I'm hanging in my room behavior. This is something else.
Kelly wants to know what's happening in America to explain about fentanyl to the general public. Besides you.
That's a good broad question.
A lot of parent groups, just like I am, you know, and Glenn posts on Lost Voices of Fentanyl, drug induced homicide. There are a lot of Facebook groups. There's a huge rally every year in DC, getting bigger by the year, unfortunately. And that is our cry. Our children are dead. We can go to DC and hold up pictures of our dead children, but that won't save anyone else's child. We need parents that have live children to come to DC and care about their children. There's nothing I can do for Bruce. I can only do something for children that are still alive.
And she said some people don't have addiction, but they try fentanyl one time.
That happens all the time. So we have many, many parents, and they've been on this show with Glenn, and they were studying for a test and got Adderall from someone that they thought was an Adderall to help them study. Was not an Adderall. Their mother finds them, or their dorm mates find them dead in their bed the next day. They never used illicit drugs in their life. Took one Adderall one time and died.
In a lot of our cases, our kids were adults, but not so much you can do to another adult. Yeah, that's right, Pat. Pretty much all you can do is tell them you're there, tell them what you know, and try to connect with them. I think that's about it. Am I missing something? Liz, Sandy?
So the younger we can get them, the better, to change that culture of somehow experimenting with the illicit drugs and it is an acceptable part of growing up. We've had that in our culture for many, many years, since the 60s, that smoking a little weed, take a little LSD, snort a little coke is just something that young people do, and they'll grow out of it. This fentanyl is a different cat. There's no way that that's acceptable anymore. Zero tolerance for any illicit drug, including marijuana and vaping. We're getting parents that the vapes have been adulterated with fentanyl and their children are dead from vaping. Zero tolerance, unfortunately, where we live now. And that's got to start very, very early.
But what about Snapchat? We hear more and more about Snapchat as being a resource to get drugs.
It still is. Now, there's a huge class action lawsuit against Snapchat that will likely be settled somewhere down the road, similar to what's happening with the Sacklers and the oxycodone cases. But Snapchat is culpable, just like the Sacklers and the pharmaceutical companies are culpable in these 110 plus drug deaths a year in this country. They are making money off the backs of our dead children, and we need help. Parents of dead children that are already dead need help to recognize and point them out, call them out, so that they don't kill other people's children.
I think I saw Candace say that her son at 23, she didn't really say, but
why does that still exist? You mean Snapchat, Kelly? Is that what you're referring to? Yeah, Snapchat seems It seems like a source of a lot of trouble.
So it always leads back to money, right? It always leads back to money. Snapchat has lobbyists in DC lobbying for them. The only thing that we have is our voice of mothers and families of dead children. Snapchat pays lobbyists millions of dollars a year to go to DC
Active.
to stay active and not to have to get any guardrails put on them at all. They
And
say,
Venmo.
and the same thing with all the other, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, they're all culpable. And they all have money
Yeah, they
to
do.
to keep working.
That's why they exist, is that they're profitable operations. So
Same thing with FedEx. So FedEx every single day, UPS every single day, United States Postal Service every single day is mailing millions of doses of fentanyl around this country. They could scan every single package with non-invasive scanners. The reason they don't have to do it is because they have lobbyists in DC and they say, oh, that'll slow up our ability to get the mail out. Well, you know what? I really don't care how long it takes somebody to get their prime package on their front door if it doesn't contain fentanyl. It needs not to contain fentanyl. And I don't care how many days it takes for you to get your whatever it is from FedEx. I just don't want them to have fentanyl in them. And there's a way to do it. Non-invasive scanners can and are interdicting fentanyl in all those arenas, but not.
So what about we did a story not all that long ago that the storyteller referenced the de minimis loophole. Do you know about that?
I do know about the de minimis loophole is packages under $800 do not have to go through customs. So let's see, did drug dealers figure that out? If they put a value on a package coming from China or anywhere internationally, they can use the de minimis loophole and say the worth of this package is under $800. It can have straight fentanyl in it and any amount. There's no way to quantify how much money's in that package. You just sign on the dotted line. It's under $800. Does not go through customs. It's called the de minimis loophole. It needs to be closed immediately. There's a bill in front of the Senate now. Close the de minimis loophole.
D's, you're talking about taking your child to the mortuary? What? She's right. The History Channel exposed this years ago, and it went to the top as she's saying how now also known as the minimus loophole. Definitely need to improve on rehabilitation of the public. Each to their own, I suppose. D's. Okay, so Liz, I can't help but notice how little you've had to say, and so
I'm a talker.
She's the expert. I just try to do what I can to help her.
So was that your first time seeing the story?
Yes, it was.
So what did you think?
I thought it was unbelievable and an amazing tribute to my beautiful nephew. And if it saves one child or adult's life, thank you, Glenn, and thank you, Sandy. It was unbelievable, beautiful,
Well,
and 100% right on.
Well, thank you.
Everything.
I was really happy with how it came out. There's myself and another editor both worked on it, and Jacob Lambert was the primary editor, and he did a really good job. Thank you for all you do. Keep up the good fight. That's right. Mary's probably talking to you guys right there. I think she's right. The history. Okay, we did that. So what other questions you guys have for these two storytellers here? I'm just waiting because I don't have to be anywhere until Thursday, so I'm just waiting. It was beautifully done and very authentic. I felt your determination. Holy cow! Yeah, me too. You know, I've seen a lot of these stories, and they're all important and they're all powerful, and and they all touch me. But this one was particularly impactful to me. That I found myself just quietly crying as I did the editing. It's pretty ridiculous. I'm such a wimp. So, how can we connect for network and support? Mara, there's a lot of ways to connect. There's if you look at the AK Fentanyl Response website, there'll be things you can do there, and there's tons of other organizations. And as far as what happens within the Texas Pictures world, we have a private. I've told you about this before. We have a private Facebook group that is made up primarily of people who have shared stories with us. I know Sandy's part of the group. Liz, I don't know. She's quiet and kind of aloof. So I don't know if she's in the group or not. I don't remember, but
She's not a Facebook.
I don't do any social media because
oh,
it's scary. So
that's cool. Well, it's a business tool for us, but
yes, it's
so
fantastic.
it's how virtually all of the storytellers in our series are part of this private Facebook group. Also in the private Facebook group are virtually all the people who have contacted us wanting to share their stories and just being in a part of the country that we haven't made it to yet or we haven't made it back to yet. Pat will be elated to hear that we keep hearing from more and more people in Virginia. We're also next month, we're going to 2 different places in Florida. And we're going to Charleston, South Carolina. Later on in the first half of the year, we're going to be going to Massachusetts. We may be going to San Diego. We may be going to Los Angeles. We have inquiries from all those areas and a very interesting inquiry from Colorado about cannabis-induced psychosis. So,
Mm.
so that we're exploring. That'll get some viewers.
Glenn, I saw a question about the vapes.
Yes,
So,
yes. Someone was asking about vapes.
so the vapes, if you get them from a reputable place, reputable does not mean a smoke shop. Reputable means a licensed distribution, then those are probably just the vapes. But now you can get vapes that have hash oil in them, THC in them,
Mhm.
and aftermarket vapes. So that's seems to be the problem is people are buying them from reputable sources and then putting the fentanyl in the vape and selling them on the street. So far, that's what I've heard of is someone gets a hold of a vape on the street that has been aftermarket laced with fentanyl.
Good answer, Sandy. Liz. That was awesome. Her eyes bugged out, and oh my gosh, she's talking to me. Okay, that was cute. All right, that was fun. Mara, I see what you're saying about you. It won't let me add you as a friend. You can't add me. Are you in some sort of trouble? Are you a troublemaker on Facebook, Mara? Is that what's going on here? I'm wondering because I haven't heard that before, and so I figure it's got to be you, right? So I will. If I haven't replied to your email, I'll check. I'm a couple of emails behind. We're getting 2 or 3 inquiries a day from people who want to share their story now, and so sometimes it gets kind of hard to stay caught up, and we're still figuring out how to organize all of this in a way, because these inquiries come from all over the country, and so trying to organize these in a way that keeps track of all the different areas that have people who want to share their stories getting challenging. So that's part of the value of the private Facebook group. Is it's not only made up of people who have shared their stories with us, like Sandy and Liz if she used Facebook, but it's also people who want to share their stories with us. Because when we establish an event, a storytelling summit in whatever location, we always announce the event in the group first, so that anyone who's a member of the group gets first crack at signing up for the event to share their story. And then we announce it publicly on our channel and on the Texas Pictures Facebook page. So yes, Anita, it is an after show meeting like we did last week. Yeah. Yeah, these are two of the storytellers from the story we just had a premiere on. Hello, Fly Girl. Thanks for joining us. Thank you so much for sharing your amazing son's story with us. What an incredible human, says Sunshine 888. Yeah, I agree. Bruce was cool. And I can imagine how exciting it would be just to watch Bruce go and imagine where he's gonna go.
He went a lot of places in his life. I would fish in the river, and you never knew. He'd go up the hill behind me, and you never knew where he'd be in a couple hours, miles and miles and miles away on the other side of the mountain somewhere.
And face to face with grizzly bears and
Lots
dull
of
sheep
bears,
and
lots of bears,
fox.
foxes, and
He just was among them.
take pictures and show me later, and it's like, yep, thanks a lot for showing me that picture of a bear.
Yeah,
Bruce.
look, it's a bear. That's funny. That's fun. Well, all kids love opportunities to like that to be able to say, "Look, Mom, I was in danger." Motorcycles.
He always came home, so he was safe in the woods in Alaska with the bears and the moose and the foxes and the wild animals. He was not safe in the city. That's where he died, in the city.
Sunshine says that Bruce seemed fearless. You know how many predators are out there? Yes, bears. Wow.
Yeah, that's not what killed him.
Nope.
Look at that. Brenda remembered the thumbs up. Thank you, Brenda. There's also some sort of thumbs up button to go with the video on the page, like maybe under the video or something. I don't know what. But it's just so cool to have you guys here. I'm in Houston, Texas, and they're in Anchorage, Alaska. And here we are, just all connected. Is it correct that 200 people die per day as you have it on your videos? That number could be a little bit low now. It could be over 200. So when we came up with that number, we were being conservative, but we did it based on just simple Google research and confirmed it 2 or 3 weeks ago. We check it every couple of months or so. So the way it works is we calculate the number of people who died during a story by multiplying the length of the story. Like this story was 30 minutes and some odd seconds, and multiply that by 0.13. And that's how we get the number. So actually this story calculated out to be 3.9 people during the story, and we rounded up to 4. Just full disclosure there, the 3.9, and some of that will depend on what time of day you watch it, I'm sure, as well. So thank you, JS. Thank you. Uh, uh, Anna, I don't know how to say that. Anna, he is Mimi. Anna, he is Mimi. Cool. Okay. Thank you for joining us. For those of you who joined us late, this is Sandy Snodgrass and Liz Ashlock, and they are storytellers from the story that we just premiered a little while ago. And that reminds me that I should have a look at how the story is doing. And come on, computer, just take a minute. All right. So far, Bruce's story has had over 2,000 views now.
It's wild that he knows that.
Holy cow. Are you muted again? What happened? I didn't hear that.
No, it's
I don't think-
amazing how you know that stuff.
Yeah, it's magic. It's because I'm a wizard.
I guess. I guess. So, Glenn, you want to know why I don't do Facebook?
Okay. Share.
Because when it began, because I'm old enough that when Facebook began, I got on Facebook to see my friends' kids, and my friend said, "Do it this way. No one will see you're on it." Within 8 hours, my college drug dealer boyfriend found me, and I deleted Facebook, and I never joined again. And probably pretty smart of me to stay away from that stuff.
Well, okay, so if your college drug dealer,
So I'm sure he could find me again, but I don't want to.
found you within the first 8 hours you were there, that kind of implies that you're still on his mind, doesn't it?
So I don't want to be on his mind.
But isn't there a compliment in there somewhere?
No.
No?
He was a good guy. Did you hear the drug dealing part, Glenn?
Yeah,
As I said,
I heard the drug dealer
Brucey,
part.
not your friend. Not your friend.
Not your friend.
No.
Oh, dudes, you're killing me. It doesn't matter where you live, something will find you. Glenn is a chameleon and ladies love him. Oh, thanks.
We do, Glenn.
We do, Glenn.
Glenn.
And we love your bride. She's lovely.
My bride, yes, Sherry. Sherry is in Florida with her daughter Cassie, and she's at Disney World.
Oh.
Sherry's a travel agent, and there's some sort of travel agent event going on that she's a part of, and I'm sure having a great time with her daughter
Good.
Cassie, who's very cool.
Beautiful.
So what else? Anybody else? You guys have questions? We have 70 viewers right now. We've never had that high of a view count at once before. And I'm sure that's...
Let's go get Hugh and see.
let's go. Okay, your mic cut out now.
We're going to go get Hugh and add another storyteller while the girls take a potty break. So we'll get
great wimps. See,
we'll get you to come and talk.
well, it looks like that's a vinyl cushion there. It would have been okay,
Oh, it's leather.
Okay.
So we're not going to urinate on the leather.
Okay, fine. So,
Okay, fine.
so
So Hugh is coming.
who? Hugh?
Bruce's uncle Hugh is
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah, I said Hugh. I didn't say who. I said Hugh.
Hugh,
Hugh.
correct.
So JS has a
we got it.
question.
I can give you a favorite memory of Bruce, and we saw it on the video when he was, what that move is called, when he was swinging from bar to bar, is called brachiating, and only Gibbons could do it, and no one else in the gym could before or ever still do that move that you showed of him brachiating on those bars, letting go completely and catching the next bar with one arm. So he's, as far as I know, the only person on the planet that could do it.
Wow. Well, that's certainly a pretty cool memory.
Yeah. And he just taught himself day after day after day after day outside. Eventually, his grandfather built bars for him, but in the tree or on the bars, just day after day after day to teach himself how to do that. No one prompted him to do it. He just wanted to do it.
So that's so cool. That kind
Q
of
is not on his way. He's on a call. So no Q.
who?
I'm not going to bite again, Glenn. I'm not biting again.
Johnny says, I see a family who loves him like crazy. R.I.P. Bruce, Lori. I don't know what the 3 marks is, Lori. Is that some sort of code? I don't know. All good, Liz?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, good. Good deal. We can all hear you. You know that, right?
Okay, good. Excellent.
JS, I love seeing how people light up talking about the positive memories of their loved ones. I had a boy who was incredibly skilled. Parkour is hard. Typo. Okay, Lori. So your point, JS, about how people light up talking about the positive memories of their loved ones. That is one of the coolest parts of shooting the interviews too. Is that when we shoot these interviews, typically the interview begins by asking the person we're talking to say their name, right, Liz?
Yes.
Yeah. So I asked Liz to say her name, and she got that question right. So after that, I asked them, so why are you here? And then the third question is about their loved one. In this case, it would be about Bruce. And I would just give a real broad question. So tell me about Bruce. Or tell me about Tucker, or tell me about whoever. Whenever we do these interviews, it's always basically that same opening question. Tell me about your loved one. Storyteller.
Here comes Hugh. Here comes Uncle Hugh. He was in the video.
Oh.
Here, sit here, Hugh. Yeah, Glenn. Yes, there's people asking questions about Brucey and fentanyl.
Oh, okay.
This is Uncle Hugh.
It's Uncle Hugh. You should scoot over closer to Liz like you get along.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
There you go. Hiya, Hugh. Didn't I just see you on TV?
How you doing?
I'm good. So anyway, so what I was saying is when I asked that question, the person I'm talking to, their face virtually always just lights up, and they go back to some happy place that has to do with their loved one. It's very cool. So you said 2 places in Florida. Does that mean it didn't work out for us here in Brevard County? No. April, we're still working on it. Things are a little crazy. I'm glad you're here. So we may have to stick with the original date. It's tough. I remember there was one person who wanted to share their story who's not available on whatever dates we had for Brevard County. Brevard County is like Cocoa Beach and Space Coast and all that, right? Okay, Brenda is saying, hi, Hugh. Can I call you Uncle?
Sure.
Hugh's an easygoing guy.
Oh yeah, totally easy going.
So yes, April, we might have to stick with the original dates. That's just kind of how it's working out. We have a hard deadline to be back in Houston. Otherwise, I would just stay on the road longer. That's how it usually goes. So, but we're still working on it.
So someone asked about the darkness. So if you think December 21st is the winter solstice, that we're in Anchorage, so we're pretty south compared to North Pole and Northern Alaska. So we have about 5 hours of light December 21st, and it gradually gets lighter till June 21st. And on June 21st, the sun doesn't really set in Anchorage. Again, we're pretty far south in Alaska. And then it starts getting darker. So we're always, and we'll gain 10 minutes of light a day. So if you just wait 5 days, you're going to have another hour of light as it comes to June 21st. So it happens quite rapidly up here.
Now, the extreme is the northern tip of Alaska, barrel, or Utiavik as they now call it, the sun doesn't set for 3 months in the summer, and the sun doesn't rise for 3 months in the winter.
Yeah, not much rises during the winter.
It's pretty crazy.
Barrow, I bet.
For warm people.
I've been to Dead Horse. I've been to Prudhoe Bay 3 different times, and unfortunately, when the weather's at its worst, there's no light, so I can't really do my job because there's no light. That's at least the excuse I always gave them. Said, no, we got to wait till April or something. But I've been there 3 times, and it's for 3 different clients. But it was always to make the same video. It was always to make a story about what it's like to work up there, so that they can show that to potential employees before they take a job, because they have such a high turnover rate. 3 different clients. One was Baker Hughes. One was a company called Camco. And the third, I want to say it was BP.
Could be,
I think so. Anyway.
for sure. Use.
Okay, what does law enforcement do when a fentanyl death occurs? For example, some states have a task force to do an investigation. Any services like that? In Anchorage? I don't think so.
But
We did a a ride along with the Anchorage Police Department while we were up there, and they never made any mention of any sort of task force that responded to overdoses or responded to poisonings. Merritt, what does law enforcement? Yeah, okay. And then Italian Angel asks, Uncle Hugh. Yeah, that's Hugh. So get ready. What is your synopsis of Bruce in
As a
he
whole.
says in a whole, as a whole? What is your synopsis of Bruce?
Well, he was a really vibrant young man who just loved the outdoors, loved Alaska, was just happy. He was a nature boy who was happy out in the wild. And, you know, it wasn't just the drugs, but drugs and city life just was very difficult. It was very difficult to cope and deal. And, you know, a lot of pressures. And of course, you know, fentanyl and this, you know, basically, you know, China's attack on our military age men in the United States. And I'm glad that's finally being talked about, you know, not just every once in a while in a fentanyl special. It's being talked about by the politicians. It's being talked about on the Senate floor. You know, it's being talked about in local news that this is an attack by foreign, you know, whether it's the Mexican cartels or China on our military age men. Losing a million. So Bruce was the flower of youth, and he was one of those. He would be one of those frontline defenders for our country. You know, he'd be
Liz?
24
Yes.
now.
I feel like there's something going on I'm missing.
Well, Sandy, the politics is, I'm not really up for that, but I do agree that Brucey would have been an excellent military person, and he would have fought, because he did fight for my girls, and he did fight for people he loved, and he loved being an American, especially an Alaskan. So it's a huge loss that 20-year-old men are being killed this way.
Yeah. I really had this sense like I knew Bruce, and of course I never met him, but I do feel like I knew him.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yep. Well, we really appreciate everybody caring to watch this and teaching about their kids. And my, like a third daughter to me lost her mother to fentanyl. She ordered a Xanax on the computer. Luckily, my girl that's like a daughter to me threw up, so she didn't die, but the mother died of fentanyl poisoning, and she was a doctor's wife. So there's no boundary, no age, no
class distinction either.
no. So just like Sandy said, no illicit drugs at all. It's a zero.
Yeah,
tolerance.
there is no.
If you don't have a bottle from a doctor with your name on it, don't take it. So
Absolutely. One of our stories, one of the first stories we did was a victim who was a college professor, had a PhD, and specialized in addiction. And he had been using heroin for at least 6 years and got a bad batch of heroin. And his fiance found him dead in their room.
well, and it is manslaughter now to deal fentanyl if they can prove that. I had a gentleman fix my garage door, and he said that he was poisoned by fentanyl, and his wife found him, brought him back with naloxone, and the drug dealer knew that he had it. He said, I know you told me that you only want heroin. I'm sorry that you got mixed up in that. And it scared him straight. He quit. And he's a big advocate for youth and a big advocate for zero tolerance.
Well, that's a victory of sorts.
Yep.
I suppose, it's tragic that it takes that much.
Yep.
It takes that kind of loss. So I think we're close to about time to wrap it up. We can let you guys go, and I'll stay in the live for a few more minutes. I want to go over some things that I can't quite remember now, but it'll come back to me, I'm sure.
Thank you, Glenn.
But
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
So grateful to you guys for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing how the story goes. We'll check it one more time to see what the count is at now, and
It was like 2,000 a couple minutes ago.
there we go. 2,523 views so far.
That's all.
And that is
Get it out.
that is higher than usual for our channel. So thank you, Liz and Hugh
There's Sandy.
and Sandy, who's over there kind of hiding out. Thank you guys for joining us and for sharing Bruce's story with us. And we will talk to you soon and keep you posted on how Bruce's story does. So
Take care.
I'm going to close your window now. Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Okay. So there we are. They're an awesome family for sure. So I feel like where was I? I feel like I missed a question or two that I needed to address. Okay, I understand what you're saying there, Mara. For a minute, you had me puzzled. Okay. Barrier, a 28-year-old Marine last year, Bruce, cocktail, cocaine, fentanyl with no prior drug history. Thank you, April. Look forward to meeting you soon in Florida. There are 3 locations in Florida that we're going to be hitting, and a location in Charleston, South Carolina. And it's, I don't know. Our schedule is a moving target, and so JS, can you tell me more about how you conduct the interviews? Well, some of the things about the interviews, the interviews always begin with the basic say your name. And that is really just so we can line up the person's name with the release forms that everyone fills out before their interview. Because on these forms, we have information like the birth and death date of their loved one and name and address. So we get all the spelling confirmations off of the forms and other stuff and how they want us to interact with how they want us to handle the YouTube contacts, the YouTube comments, and stuff like that. So it's tell me your name. Okay, Mara, we have another story in Colorado. It might be cool, but you can come to us anytime, as long as we're in town. Anyway, so back to the interviews. So it starts with tell me your name, and they'll say their name, and then I'll kind of try to communicate a bit more relaxed tone, and I'll ask them, so why are you here? And typically what happens when I ask that question is the storyteller will respond with a kind of a summary statement of what they want their interview, their testimony, their loved one's film to communicate to the audience in some kind of way. And so they'll give that answer, and I'll start having questions planted in my brain based on what their answer is. And my next question is, so what was your loved one like growing up? And that's when the kind of really cool magic kind of thing starts to happen, where the storyteller's face lights up and they'll say, oh, Kevin was such a cool kid when he was growing up. He used to butter his lips and then slide the dry bread in, or whatever kind of nostalgic kind of silly story they come up with. And once they start talking about that, the rest just kind of naturally flows. And sometimes I will ask some questions. Sometimes there's hardly a question at all. And they just go. And I just listen and regularly try to reinforce that the storyteller knows that I'm really listening, that I'm not just sitting there waiting for my next chance to ask a question. Okay, so I'm behind. I can travel to you, Glenn. I'm in San Diego. Mara, yes, you can come to us anytime that we're in town. We shot a story right here, right next to where the camera is that I'm talking to, right there, 3 days ago. Yeah, 4 days ago. So, right. So we can do that anytime. Emma, thanks for joining us. Thanks for your comment. Mara, that sounds straightforward. Very okay. Sunshine Mary, do you know Sally Manchester trial regarding fentanyl in Chicago? Glenn, did you hear anything about Michael Rivers? Bruce Rivers is the father and has a YouTube channel. No. Michael Rivers, that doesn't ring any bells with me. I don't get out much, No, I don't know who Michael Rivers is. Nice process, Glenn. Strong, open-ended questions that make great impact. It is so, Mara. Here's here's one of the things about the interviews is that a lot of the people that we talk to are really just they're aching to find some sort of little bit of value in this terrible loss that they're going through. And so when we put in front of them a way to get a little bit of value out of it, it becomes easy for them pretty quickly to start opening up and sharing and kind of honoring their loved one by sharing the whole story. And typically storytellers don't hold back. And it's 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 magic. It's magic, and it's not me. It's just the moment where finally they get to do this thing. So that's awesome. Anita, should I know about Michael Rivers? I don't believe I do. Okay, the way you interact with the interview is absolutely unique. Just hearing you interacting gives more of a comfortable, relaxed setting. Like I'm there too. It is cool. It's it seems wrong to call it wonderful because it's such a dreadful, painful kind of topic. But the difference in the storyteller between when we begin the interview and when we finish the interview and I come around from the camera and I give the storyteller that role of lifesavers. They're different people at the end of the story. Just a little bit happier or a little bit more satisfied with being able to draw some sort of value out of their loss or something. But it's a beautiful thing that I get to see. And so hearing the pain, hearing the hard parts of the story is easy for me because I know at the end of it all, there's that. I know at the end of it all, they're going to have this relief. There's this look on their face that it's got just a little bit of joy or something. But whatever it is, I get to help make that happen. So while I sit through the painful parts of each interview, I know that that's at the end. So it's easy. And then when we publish the story, it happens again. When this story we just published a couple of hours ago has had over 2,700 views so far. So when the storyteller gets to see this attention for their loved one, and they get to read all of the positive comments that viewers make on the story, it happens again. They get this extra little lift. Maybe it doesn't last very long, but for that moment they get something. All right, so let me catch up. Imagine this is incredibly healing process for them. When someone you love dies, it becomes a mission to keep them alive. In other ways, so the world doesn't. Yeah, that's exactly it. So April, it doesn't affect me negatively in any way that I can identify, and it affects me positively in many ways. So thank you, Mara, about my heart. Pat, even though there's a big camera in your face, it goes away and you feel as though you're one-on-one with Glenn, very comfortable. Yes, you are one-on-one with Glenn through that weird magic box is what I call it. So Driftwood, it's a privilege and fulfilling to listen to stories and be able to share with others. Thank you, Driftwood. JS, it's wonderful in the way that it's exploration of human connection. Through such pain, you see beauty and connection form. You see support, relief, etc. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, it is. It is amazing. It is. April Smith, thank you. That makes sense. Yeah, I hope so. Uh, it's it's got to be really rewarding to me because holy cow, otherwise it's time to stop. In 2024, we visited 25 cities in the United States. 25 cities. That's a city. That's a different city every other week, spread out over the year. But it wasn't like that. It was crazy trips and flights and long drives, and but it's all such a mission. It's just I feel very fortunate to get to do this. Brilliant and beautiful process and service. Thank you, Stacy. Yes, the joy after the rain. Oh, that's a good way to put it. I think that it is the hope of them telling the story of their lost loved ones. They have the hope that they will be able to stop this horrible situation from happening to others through their loss. Yeah. And I think maybe it's even the hope that the loved one they lost is the one saving someone else's life. Thank you, April. Pat, you see Glenn's facial expressions on the live shoot. When you're talking to him, his expression changes. Even when he doesn't say anything, you know that you have his undivided attention. Thank you, Pat. Yeah, you usually have all my attention. And some people really work hard to get to the point where they can share their story. One of the stories that we shot in Phoenix a few weeks ago, one of the storytellers flew in from Los Angeles or somewhere to share their story with us. And that's pretty awesome. So they certainly get all my attention. Is Anita, yes, what? What are you saying yes to, Anita? I didn't ask for anything, but thanks. I feel though you have a calming, understanding voice and demeanor. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do. Holy cow, we're still here. We have quite a few viewers still. We've been here 75 minutes. What else? What other questions? What other questions are out there? Maybe I'll think of whatever it was I thought that I needed to tell you guys about. And the story gives a sense of justice, a sense of righteousness, and a sense that this person matters so much beyond words. Yes, okay, I understand, April. Thank you. Thank you. I'm a little slow sometimes. When people aren't talking directly to me and I have a microphone on them and an earplug in and we're so connected, and so it gets kind of challenging. So, well, sorry, I was just checking a text message from one of our storytellers. In fact, it lets people know who are the voice beyond the grave. It's a sense of power. They will not sweep this under the rug. It's a message that will fight for what is right and true. So I think I said this last time, but I'm going to say it again. That what I usually tell the storytellers, usually after the interview, after I've given them the role of lifesavers. Holy cow, we got to order lifesavers. Those are hard to find. So anyway, there's this thing that I tell the storyteller often. Not all of them, but I often tell them that the last part of a person's life is oftentimes, and maybe every time, someone else's lesson. And it's not really any consolation, but it's important. It's really important. And I really believe that our loved ones will live on through us. Yes, Mira. It lets people know we are the voice beyond the graves. Yes. Okay. So I sure wish, I know I forgot something that I wanted to talk about. Okay. So we've had inquiry. We have Florida and South Carolina, Massachusetts is likely in the next uh, in April or May or June. Massachusetts is likely. We've had inquiries from Colorado, California, Oregon, Virginia. Yeah, I remember Pat, and West Virginia. You can email us, Anita and Mara. I believe you're the one who said that you emailed us before. Have I responded? I'm guessing I haven't. Here's our email address, Anita. Info. Okay. Bruce Rivers and his son's story. Where is Bruce at? Are you thinking Bruce is a good story for us to report on our channel? Or are you thinking something that I should see? Oops. Come on. Sorry. I have. Uh, so other questions? Who else has questions for us? I'll just have a look, Mara. Oh, there you are. For some reason, I cannot send your emails from my work email. Keeps coming back as send error from your system. Scroll down to see the original message. Follow up. Okay, Mara. Look, here's a second attempt. First, not successful. I see an email from Mara, just like that. I wanted to follow up on my message last week. Oh, Mara, we actually had a storytelling summit in a funeral home once. It was in Midland, Texas, I think. It's a little different, kind of a trigger for some storytellers, but it was certainly quiet, and that was useful, and it worked out fine. Thanks, Mary. I will reply. I will reply tomorrow. Thank you, Anita. A very helpful interview for you. Thanks for sharing. And what else? What else? Who has questions? I will also share with you guys a page on our website that is, if you want to share a story, I know if you'd like us to come to your area, we have a page on our website that explains how to do that. It doesn't cost anything. We don't charge anything. We also don't pay anything other than our travel expenses. Yes, Mara, I got it. And I'll definitely follow up with you. I'll reply to you tomorrow. Okay, Mara, I suppose I should know the difference between a mortuary and a funeral home. But yeah. Uh, all right, I have a link to a page on our website. Our website is a bit behind because we've been busy. So, but I have a link to a page on our website that explains how to make a storytelling summit happen in your area. All of the storytelling, all of them, all 25, 26 cities, however many we shot in the last year, all of them had a local person in each city who was our storytelling coordinator. Pat's learning about this pretty quick, I believe. So here is the link. I am pasting the link into the chat, and this is how you can learn how to make a storytelling summit happen in your area, in whatever area. And we travel a lot. Are you going to have a live meeting like you did last week? Can I give gratuity? Of course. Yes, we have we have PayPal if you want to do something like that. And Connecticut freedom. No, we have not been to Connecticut yet. I think that Connecticut, Massachusetts, and that whole New England kind of area is going to be one relatively big trip. Has he given you a date yet, Pat? You're killing me. Okay. Well, thanks, Mara. I I was I had in my head it was the same thing. And so, okay, cool. Well, I learned something new. I should write it down, but I'm probably not going to do that. So I'd love to be a part of that in my area. I love to be the local person. I love group activities. You should look at the link on the link that I pasted before and see what all's involved. It's not a complicated process. It really relies on someone having some sort of local connections. Sometimes it's at a church. A lot of times, our stories are shot in churches. Sometimes in recovery centers, like when we were in Richmond, we shot at the McShin Foundation, and those folks were awesome. And out of Connecticut, I work for the busiest EMS agency. It's such a problem in this whole area. It's everywhere. It's really sad and heartbreaking. JS. So do you guys see overdoses every day? Multiple overdoses a day? How does that work? And Mara, are you on Facebook? Did we sort that out before? I don't. Well, okay then. And Mara, where are you at? Already decorated. Just need light camera action. Well, I'm sure you've seen enough of our stories to recognize that the environment isn't particularly complex. Typically, it's a black background. Like our storyteller said, naloxone doesn't work on trank, and it's destroying our providers. We feel so helpless sometimes, burnt out. Yeah, okay, JS. Here's the thing. Multiple overdoses a day, but see tons of correlated to side effects of addiction that aren't ODs necessarily. Big problem is xylazine now. Well, it would be great when we come to your area. It would be great if maybe we could do a ride along with you guys. Uh, just an idea for you to bounce around in your head. We've done it before. There's a story on our channel that involves ride-alongs with law enforcement and EMS. It's a documentary we made about synthetic cannabinoids, about spice, kush, fake weed, whatever, fake bake. So sunny San Diego, okay. But you're the one who said you could also come to us. Am I remembering that right? There's that awkward silence. Okay. So, San Diego. Wesley Channel. Looking for you, Mara. Are we friends? Mara, no. Absolutely. ITD ultimately built to my EMS agency, but something I'll absolutely work on and advocate for. I'll get in touch with you. Any way I could help the cause. Yeah, I think that when we were in Anchorage, we were supposed to do a ride along with EMS, but one of the guys, the main guy we were supposed to ride with, got called away, got sick or something, but they had to cancel. They really did try, but it was near the end of our stay, and they had to cancel, and we didn't have any space left in our schedule to redo it. But the ideal would be ride with an EMS person we can interview who can talk about what he or she has seen with regard to with regard to fentanyl related deaths, with regard to fentanyl related deaths, overdoses, the drug environment in general, stuff like that. JS, I would be so proud of myself if I remember that your name is Janet the next time we do a live and you're in on it. Alongside police, fire, and our new crisis intervention team. So we've done a lot of ride-alongs with law enforcement over the years, not as many with EMS, but I am going to share a link to a documentary we made 7 or 8 years ago now about synthetic cannabinoids. It's called The Last High. And The Last High we made in Baytown, Texas. It was actually for the city of Baytown that we made it. So it seems like I may have shared this last time, but here is a link. Yeah, Mara. We can go to Colorado. We have a couple of other stories. That is a link. The link I just posted is the link to the documentary we made. It's an hour long, and it is about synthetic cannabinoids. We made it for the city of Baytown and the Baytown Police Department. I don't know when we posted it. It has been up a while. We uploaded it in 2017, so it has been up a while. Never got much attention, but I posted a link. Oh, okay. Let me catch up. JS, are you the same? Yeah. Okay. Clearly not. Colorado preferred. Yeah, Colorado would be good. That's kind of that's one of those areas that we need to shoot in. We have, I think I mentioned before, we have an inquiry about creating a story about cannabis-induced psychosis, and there's some, and the person who made the inquiry talked about there being other other people in her area who have an interest in sharing similar stories. So that could work out. Blast, no worries. Anita JS, yes, please link. I'd love to see that one. I've been following you guys, lurking for a while. So our channel has been around since, like, I want to say 2009. The thing is, we didn't really get any kind of notice until we started doing the fentanyl stories. For the most part, we used our channel as just a way to showcase the work that we do for our clients. But the fentanyl stories are stuff that we make specifically for YouTube. There is no client, there is no sponsor, there is no grant, there's nothing. It is self-funded, and what makes the series sustainable is the little bit of revenue that comes from the commercials that play on our stories. Will you shoot at my sister's house as extra office spaces in Colorado? Mary, here's the thing. Typically, when we do one of these summits, after the people in the group get a chance to register for the event, then we announce it publicly, and so that would mean announcing the address publicly. Jasmine, what's the furthest you've traveled to shoot a video? Okay, all right, I have the perfect picture for that. So, Jasmine, did you see the story we just published? Let me see where I'm at here. All right, here we go. What's the furthest I've traveled? That's a kick. Okay, oh, behind this picture. Oh, I know the easy way to do this. There we go. Okay. The furthest we've traveled. Okay, I'm going to share a page on our site, and I'll show you the furthest we've traveled. So that's the furthest we've traveled. Thank you, Janet. So the furthest we've traveled for fentanyl stories has been Anchorage. Yeah. So Texas Pictures has been around since 2007. And most of our work has been industrial training and safety videos. So a lot of these places with the stars on them are oil and gas kind of destinations that wouldn't typically be very high on your, ooh, I got to go there list. So it's cool. It's cool to have gotten to go so many different places in the world. It really changes how you view everything. I'm going to ask about funding. We are we're always open to funding. We are not a nonprofit. We're a real business. At least we're not a nonprofit on purpose. We're a real business, and so the revenue that comes from the advertising on YouTube is enough to make the fentanyl series sustainable, and it makes the addiction recovery series possible, and the other topics that we address possible. So it's a kind of a delicate balance, but very grateful to be in this spot. If anyone wants to donate or sponsor, we're certainly open to that. We don't solicit it, and we haven't gone looking for it, but we certainly wouldn't turn it away. And at some point, we may look into applying for some kind of grant funding or cooperative thing with a nonprofit or something. We just want to keep doing this kind of work. Well, thank you, Mara. We can always sort out a way. Would you? Someone sent us something through PayPal not long ago, but we'll look into that a little bit more and figure something out and let you know. I find the whole money thing to be such a nuisance. Stacy did. Yes. Thank you, Stacy. Yes. Stacy did. Wonderful. All right, folks. I keep thinking the number of people that are in the group is going to go down, and it'll be time to shut this down. But we've got do you get the money if we subscribe to the YouTube channel? Subscribing, there's no money to subscribing. Subscribing is free. Being a member of the channel is $3 a month, and yes, we get most of that, like $2.50 or so, I believe, and it helps. There's people that are members get a few little perks, and we're always looking for ideas for what else we can do for members. But the big perk they get is they can see the stories without commercials. The stories are uploaded twice. Stacy, to be a member, I think you have to go to our homepage on our YouTube channel, and somewhere there ought to be something that says membership, perhaps. Let me see if I can see it. If I go to the homepage. I don't know. So that's interesting. April, does that mean you found it? I'm looking. I don't see it. It used to be obvious, and I don't see it now. It used to be obvious, and Oh, I don't know. It all seems kind of weird right now. Oh, membership. There you go. When I look at our page, uh, huh. All right. So, if any of you sorted that out, there's a button. Tanya, thank you. There's a button to click under each video that says join, and that is how to become a member. There's also a button that says subscribe, and you can do both. Subscribing is free. Joining as a member is $2.99, and it helps. We have 75 or so members, I think, and I think that having members helps how we work within the YouTube algorithm too. And so I think that members really does help. Yes, cool. Tanya. All right. So I know that some of the people that are with us right now are people that have inquired about having a summit happen in your area, and we can come anywhere. The key is to have enough stories to shoot 6 to 8 stories a day for at least 2 days. And the stories need to be fentanyl related, human trafficking related, domestic violence related, or addiction recovery. But most of them should be those first three. I'm going to drive now. Look forward to hearing from you, Glenn. I'm listening but cannot chat. Cool, Mara. You drive safe. We also have a documentary about distracted driving on our channel that we made for AAA. So probably shouldn't watch it right now, but it's a good one, I think. It went to a couple of film festivals and did pretty good. It's cool. It's on the wall over there. There's a movie poster for it over there. What other questions can I answer for anyone who might have questions? What do you want to know? What do you want to ask? Because I'm about out of water and I'm very parched. And oh, okay. There you go, Glenn. All right. Where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? No. I'm in compliance then and safe. Talk soon. Sneaking a good break. Good job. Breaks matter. I have 3 fentanyl poisoning and addiction recovery from my son Alex, who is still living with me. My only living relative. Okay, Tanya, and where are you at? Did we talk about where you're at already? Or no? Indianapolis. Oh, cool. I don't think I've ever been to Indianapolis. I think I've been to Gary, Indiana for something. I don't know. Are they close? Wow. Okay, we've been doing this for almost 2 hours now. Remember, we started out with Sandy and Liz, the storytellers. So I also, in the course of looking at our channel, it also looks like our store is gone. Like our store isn't showing up right now. So I'll have to look into that. And we're nowhere near Indianapolis is the capital of Indiana. Okay. All right, cool. Well, can certainly come there. Uh, we also had inquiries from Wisconsin and Maine. All over. So I really I appreciate you guys so much. I'm having a good time with this. I'm not really wanting to leave. I'm just here, but I feel like we've about exhausted all there is to talk about. Unless you guys have other questions, I actually I am going to look. I might have some pictures, some behind the scene kind of pictures that I can share with you guys. And just give me a minute to. Wow. Okay. Well, that's going back a bit. I do have something I can share with you guys. When we do these interviews, oh no. Oh no. Hold on. I'll fix this. Holy cow. Here we are. Okay, so the battery died. The camera battery died. Obviously, I don't just use a typical webcam kind of camera because, this is part of my field. It really should be a better camera. So, but you folks were asking about the interview. And so I wanted to share with you a picture of what the magic box looks like. Tanya, you should join our private Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, you should join our private Facebook group. Our private Facebook group is made up primarily of those who have shared their stories with us and those who want to share their stories with us. And so that is how we keep everyone who wants to share their story. That's how we keep them up to date on where we're going to be shooting and when and things like that. And so here's what I'm going to do. In fact, I am going to share a link. Oh, my mother is on the phone. There we go. So I'm going to share a link to join. If you're someone, here's the link. But before I post the link, I want to explain that this Facebook group, it's a private group. You can't find it by searching for it. It's private. And the purpose of the group is to bring together people who have shared stories and people who want to share their stories. It's how we stay connected with all of our storytellers and all of the people who are hoping to share their story. It's a great tool for us. So I'm going to share the link here for anyone who fits within that category. If you want to share a story with us, or if you've already shared a story with us, then and you're not already part of the group, this is the perfect way for you to join it. So here is the link. What prompted the name of this YouTube channel? Well, the better question is what prompted the name for the company. Texas Pictures was a company for a couple of years before we got a YouTube channel. We've been around for 18 years. And most of that time we were doing industrial production work. And the name Texas Pictures, no, Texas has an interesting history. It's interesting to me. Texas was, at one point, Texas was a country. There was the Republic of Texas. And the Battle of the Alamo was, the battle was during the Texas Revolution with Mexico. And it's a pretty fascinating history to me. And when we originally established Texas Pictures, it was on April 21st, 2007. April 21st is also the anniversary of Texas winning its independence from Mexico and becoming its own country. So it worked out pretty good. But I find Texas history pretty fascinating. And so it's not about the state of Texas. The inspiration for the company name is because of the Republic of Texas. The Alamo, there was another battle called Goliad, which was far worse than the Alamo, but it's kind of forgotten because John Wayne didn't make a movie about Goliad. Okay, so I digress. I have a room in my house here that is called the Texas Room, and it has different Republic of Texas flags. There's a theme park called Six Flags, and it used to be called Six Flags Over Texas. And it's referring to the Six Flags that flew over Texas. And so one of them is, I think, Spain, Mexico, France, Confederacy, Republic, and then United States. So that's the six. Yeah. So anyway, we digress. That's pretty good. So, and so the Republic of Texas stuff, it's a great, simple, easy to recognize logo, the star in the circle. That's not a state thing as much as a Republic of Texas thing. I think, at least that's where it is in my head. No, I don't have any specific history books, but not that I could recommend. it's a fascinating history. I regularly refer during, this is February, so yeah, the siege at the Alamo started in February, and then the Alamo fell in early March 6th. I'm pretty sure. And so all of those historical things also make for fun business promotion tools that every year or two we can post things about what was going on in the Republic of Texas Revolution. I've been to Texas twice, drove to El Paso all by myself to get my daughter from the military. Drove to El Paso from where? I drove through El Paso just a couple of weeks ago coming back from Phoenix. That drive from El Paso to San Antonio, that's kind of brutal. All right. All right. So I was going to share with you guys, I have a picture here, and it's mildly goofy looking, but okay. So I'm going to share a picture with you guys. Maybe. Brutal drive. Yeah. Why Texas tries to. Why? Why what? What are you asking? What are you asking, Stacy? All right. I wanted to show you guys this. Some of you, I bet if Pat is still with us, he recognizes this box. This is the box that we use to shoot the interviews. And the camera is right there behind that reflection. Brutal drive. Why is it brutal? Well, I don't know. What is it? 6 or 7 hours from El Paso to San Antonio, maybe more. 8 hours. And most of that's driving through a desert. And it's just long, straight, nothing road. So it's not really brutal. You just sit there and steer, but it's boring. And hello, Anita. Dead looking cactus desert for miles and miles. Dead looking cactus. Doesn't all cactus look kind of dead? Okay, anyway. So that's the box. And you can see the box here. This is this is reflective glass, and behind that glass is the camera, which you cannot see. Normally, during the interview process, I'm usually I would be on the other side. I'd be sitting on the other side in this, well, yeah, behind that, and there's a mirror there, so it works sort of like a teleprompter. So for the storyteller, they see my head in that box and can't see the camera at all. It is a cool box. Yowza Brothers Live in Pflugerville and Georgetown. What? What are you telling me, Stacy? Okay. All right, folks. Well, we are over 2 hours now. Yeah, max, whatever. Headroom, I thought. So, it is certainly probably really, yeah. I live in Texas too. So enough of this ridiculous looking window, but that's what the magic box looks like. And if there's anything else. I'm looking to see if they're, here we go, maybe. Huh. So I can share a few other pictures. I'm unable to pull up the link on the Facebook page. It may work best if you open Facebook first. I don't know, but the link should be getting you folks into the group, but I'm not seeing where anyone has joined the group yet. So if anyone has tried to, it didn't work. So anyone with this link can see the group's about info and request to join. All right, I'll get the, whoops, no, didn't want to do that. Bear with me, invite with link. Here's the link. Okay. Good night. Good night, Tracy. All right. Here's the link again. That link should, according to what Facebook tells me right here, should get you into the group. It should make it possible for you to request to join the group, not actually get into the group, just request to join it. And then once I see the request, I will approve it. So that's the link. And I don't know, I've heard before about it not always working right. And I don't know what to tell you about that. That's a question for the folks at Meta. All right. Hey. Okay. So try it again. If that doesn't work, you can email me. The easiest way to get into the group is to friend me on Facebook. Glenn Muse, friend me on Facebook, and then I can invite you directly because we're friends. Game over. You leaving, Brenda? Is that what you're telling me? Yeah. of about. Okay, Brenda. Yeah, I think Brenda's about right. I keep seeing we have 84 people in the group right now, and that's more than we usually have, and so I like that, obviously. And I keep holding out hope that we're going to break 90 for just a minute, but I'm going to give up on that because it's about time to wrap it up. I've been here for over 2 hours, and golly, that's a long time. So I just want to tell you folks just how much I appreciate all of you for being a part of this, and feel like we lost someone who would often join these chats. This person decided that there was an issue, and but they're usually someone you can really count on. My son is helping me with Facebook, otherwise I'll offend you. What is your name again? Just in case. My name is Glenn Muse. Glenn with one N, because having two N's is just ridiculous. Glen. Last name is Muse, M-U-S-E, like museum, M-U-S-E. And my name is also in the credits at the end of all the stories. And probably other stuff too. I don't know. But before I go, I'm going to take you through a few pictures from when we shot in Richmond. But that wasn't Richmond. Right in there. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share a few pictures just real quick, and then we will wrap it up. So this is some behind the scenes kind of photos from Richmond. There I am with my wife in the reddish mauve. I don't know what color that is top. We're at the McShin Foundation. This is shooting at the McShin Foundation. The person who's being interviewed is the is the director of the McShin Foundation. And you'll notice after spending all that time showing you guys the picture of the magic box, with me standing next to the magic box, the box we're using on this shoot is different. The box we're using on this shoot folds up, so it's easier to fly with that box. The downside of that box is that it needs a separate stand, but the fact that it folds up makes it a lot more manageable. So, well, there's that. Let's see what's next. So that's what all of our storytellers get after the story's done. I feel like it's a very cool thing. The thing with the logo on it is a T-shirt. There's more of our storytellers at McShin, and that's okay. And here we are. You can see that the box that we're using here is a little different. It's obviously upside down because the logo is upside down. Back. Anyway, that's that one. What's next? More storytellers at McShin Foundation. All wonderful people. Another angle, doing another interview, and at the end of the session, we usually try to do a dinner with as many as many storytellers as we can meet with. And so this is dinner at a local, like a sports bar kind of bar and grill kind of restaurant, and always a good time. And I think that might be it. That's it for that one for sure. Okay. So that was Richmond. Is there pictures in New Mexico? Okay. So anyway, I think that's probably going to be it for today. I'm so grateful. 90 plus, woot woot. Oh, look at there. Yeah, we were over 90 for a few minutes. I saw that. Okay, my son is helping me with Facebook. Otherwise, you got my name, Glenn Muse, B Maxwell. Yeah, you're saying that, but we're down to 87 now. So here's my name, Glenn Muse. You can find me on Facebook, and from there, send me a friend request, and then it's real easy to invite you in a way that works. I don't know. I've heard before that the link that I shared doesn't always work, and so if it doesn't work, then I don't know why. I don't know how it works. Anita Lawless sent me a friend request. Ooh. All right, so now I can. Oh, sorry, I got sidetracked. Facebook will do that to you. Now I can go to the group and invite Facebook friends. And okay, Anita, you should have gotten an invite now. So I saw your friend request and accepted the friend request and sent you an invite to join the group. So you should be seeing an invite just any minute. I find it really weird that the link didn't work. But anyway, Maxwell, maybe next time we'll break 100 at one time. Uh, uh, so Anita, have you seen the Tanya? Okay, I see you now. All right. And you're killing me. You're killing me. I see the no sir. Invite Facebook friends. Okay, sent one to Tanya also. So the invite should show up under notifications, I believe. what I used to do, Cindy, and then I couldn't do it anymore. All right. All right. So it should be there. There should be invites to. There should be invites to Anita and to Tanya. You should have received invites to join the group, and they show up and in notifications in the bell icon that's at the top right corner of the screen on the computer. But it should be there. All right, folks. So anyway, I do think it's about time. 140 minutes. This is getting to be like a Stanley Kubrick film. So it's about time to wrap it up, folks. Yes, ma'am. I did. We're friends now, Anita. And I don't know, I got something else. But and not. I'm looking. I'm sure it's got to be pretty boring to just sit there and watch some old guy in her. Oh, thank you, Tanya. And so we are connected. Anyone who else wants to connect with the group, you're certainly welcome to. I don't know why the link that I shared. Oh, ta-da! See, it was approved. How about that? That's cool. All right, folks. But it's really time to about wrap it up. So yeah, it's really about time to wrap it up. We've been here for over almost 2.5 hours, and I'm about done. I can't tell you folks enough about how much I appreciate you joining us and how much I appreciate you participating in the premiere. For those of you that were here for the premiere that have been with us the whole time, it was a painful thing, I'm sure, for Sandy and for the rest of her family to talk about Bruce. But I feel like their story is really powerful and helps to save some lives. So I appreciate you guys being a part of it. And I appreciate that everyone that was nice to them too. That was nice. So we're gonna wrap it up now, but I cannot tell you how grateful I am for all of you, and for those of you who became members today. Okay, Anita, I'm working on it. All right, so thank you for being here, and we'll do this again. Probably in a couple of days. I believe our next story is going to be a story from Albuquerque. Crying now. Tanya, are you crying? Or are you trying? Yeah, she and the T aren't too close together. So, well, thank you, Tanya. I don't. So, if you had to have a degree, there was no
requirement for what that degree was in. But you could give different ways.
Okay, I have a question for the group. Is Tanisha here? Is Tanisha here? All right, so I guess not. All right, fine.
And if you were hiring a secretary, they needed to have.
I am looking. Anita, you should have an invite somewhere. I don't know. I'll work on it a little bit more. Tanya, there's a couple of stories on our channel that are about dealing with grief. There's a story called Life After Loss. If you haven't seen it, I can send you a link. I can post a link in the chat. And it is so. So there's a link to the Life After Loss story, and this story is an interview with a best-selling author named Heather Lambert, who is my friend with me and my wife, and her son Jacob is one of the editors who works on a lot of our stories and does a great job.
Well, there is almost every person that was arrested. Not that they did anything.
The little voice in the background is someone else who lives in the house,
No, I know that.
who forgets about how live stuff works. So it'll be all right. It'll be fine. So, but the Life After Loss story, it's good basic stuff. It might help anyone dealing with grief. No, I put that up when your battery died. What did you put it up? Put it up. Okay. All right. So anyway, it's so funny for the battery to have died. All right. So we are going to wrap it up now. We're the little voice. It's my mother. She lives with us, and she's great. Sometimes a little bit loud. So anyway, thank you all for joining us. All right. I see we're going to make it to 2.5 hours for sure. But I'm very grateful for you guys all being here. Our next story is probably going to be from Albuquerque, and it will be published not tomorrow, but the next day is the goal. So, yeah. Why? Yeah, it's South Shore Harbor. It's like a resort conference place, right? Right, Anita? Yeah. I have been there. I appreciate you. I'm going to watch tonight. I barely sleep whatsoever since January 16, 2020. Would love to read the book as well. I read what I can and watch everything I can. Difficult time. So there is one other. We have another story with Heather. Here's one more. It's called Grief Feels Like Crazy. And Grief Feels Like Crazy is just 6 minutes long. It's just a little bit under 6 minutes long, but it's a nice, concise message that some people find helpful. And so feel free to Tanya, feel free to message me on Facebook anytime you like. And I don't sleep a whole lot either, and so not for the same reason. I just wake up and can't go back to sleep, so I work. Yeah. So anyway, Anita, I'll keep trying to get you the invitation to get into the group. And Tanya, I don't know if you got it or not, but once you're in the group, if there's any other stories where you want to reach out to a storyteller that you've seen, you can probably find them in the group, and they'd be more than happy to visit with you. All right, so that's going to be it for now. Appreciate you guys, and we will do this again maybe Thursday. All right, so I'm going to get out of here now, but thank you very much for joining us, and look forward to hearing from you guys. Remember, any of you are welcome to email me anytime. Okay, cool. Please do, Anita, send me the link to Bruce Rivers. And so, I'm trying to end this a few times now. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to wrap it up now and close this out, but I will be back again sometime soon, probably Thursday, and we can visit again. Hope to have the next story ready on Thursday. So thanks for joining, and I will talk to you folks soon. Very, very grateful that you were here, and grateful that we were here for so long. So thanks a lot.